Okay, so good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. You are audible.
All right, fine, fine, great. Okay, so let's start the session. Let me share my screen. Okay, is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's discuss about Python full stack development. Okay, so basically why we should learn this course. We will start from here. Okay, so why should you learn full stack development, full stack web development, right? Nowadays, okay. Why we should not learn only Python? Why should not we learn only front end? Okay, so we will see why we have to learn complete full stack development nowadays. Okay, so it is what high in demand. Full stack development is high in demand. Most of the companies today is looking for full stack developers who can handle both front end as well as backend. Okay, so if you are the person who know about the front end, if you know the backend, so means, and one more thing is a database. If you know these three technologies, means you are able to create dynamic websites. Okay, we will discuss what is dynamic website, what are the static websites. Okay, these skills open tons of job opportunities. Okay, basically whatever we are learning, the ultimate goal is what? Earning. Okay, so means we want to get good opportunity, good job opportunities. Okay, so that's why we design this course in such a way, so after learning this course you will become job ready, right? Okay, so full stack means this is high in demand, right? So most of the companies hiring full stack developer who have a good knowledge in front end development, back end development, as well as database technologies, along with some tools and testing tools also, right? And what is the role and responsibilities of a full stack web developer? If you are the full stack developer, so what will be your role in a company if a company will hire you? So what are the responsibilities the manager will assign to you? So see, so a full stack developer is a developer whose responsibility is to developing web application. Okay, so what you will do, you will create web applications. Okay, there are different types of applications like desktop application. Okay, and we can say mobile application is there, web application is there, right? So different types of applications are there. So out of those we will create web application. We will learn how we can design interface of the web, and how we can design, how we can process the data, and how we can store the data. This much we should know. Okay, the question is, what is front end? What is front end and what is back end? Front end means, see, we can divide every website, whatever website we see on internet, we can divide into two parts. Okay, every website has two components. One is front end and the second one is back end. Front end means the part which is visible to us, and the back end means which is not visible, which is the processing part. Okay, so what is front end? Let's understand it clearly. So front end means this. For example, whenever we visit Amazon website, so whatever components, whatever UI we see, so this UI and components designed by the front end developers. Okay, front end means visual part of web application, as you can see. So this is the perfect example of front end, right? And how to design this, we will learn. Okay, just a overview I'm giving. What is backend now? See, so whatever accounts are there on Amazon website, whatever shopping and purchasing is going on, whatever the processing is going on the Amazon website, so that processing and profiles and customers, okay, so managed by the backend. Okay, so backend is all about how to manage and process or store the data, okay, coming from front end into database. Okay, so after processing the data, backend will store into database permanently. Okay, like user history, whatever product you have purchased from the Amazon, so who will responsible to track your orders, who will able to track, who will be responsible to like store your data, your profile permanently in database. So this is the backend. Okay, so backend process the data whenever data goes from frontend to database. So in between backend is there, right? For example, let's understand by this example. For example, this is what Facebook page. Okay, Facebook login page is there. So you are writing your credential, right? You are writing your username or mobile number or Gmail, or you are writing here password. You are typing password. After that, you click on login. When you click on login, so the request processed by the backend. Okay, so backend identify whatever login credential you are giving to the login page of Facebook. Is it valid user or not? Okay, if it is valid, means it will search your profile in database and bring the data, and it will show to the user. Suppose you are writing wrong password, so what will do? Backend will process your request and it will reject, and it will show you, it will display a message, invalid username or password, or maybe user is not found, like that. So backend is there in between frontend and database, right? Okay, so what are the job opportunities after learning full stack development? So these are the job opportunities. These are the domains where you can apply. You can apply as a software engineer. Okay, because if you know the front end, okay, like there are courses, some courses are like they teach you only front end. Okay, means if you are the front end, means you don't have knowledge of back end, right? But in software company, there is a hiring for software engineer, but they are hiring for back end profile, right? In software engineering profile, and the subdomain is what? Backend. So you cannot apply. Okay, even if it is a software engineering domain, you cannot apply because you don't know backend. So if you learn the full stack, means you are ready for the front end technologies, you are ready to the backend technologies, and you are ready for the database. Okay, so as a Python developer, you can apply. Research analyst, you can apply. Data scientist, you can apply. Software developer, you can apply. Python senior developer, quality analysis, okay, quality assurance engineer, machine learning engineer, IoT developer. So these are the domains. React JS developer, you can apply, because in a front end module we will learn HTML. Okay, let me just write here. So why we can apply here in React JS development, or we can say why we can apply here. So because in front end module we will cover HTML, okay, HTML5, and we will cover CSS, advanced CSS we will cover, right? We will cover JavaScript in detail, okay, and we will learn ES5 version, ECMAScript 5, and we will learn ECMAScript 6, right? And we will learn Bootstrap, okay, Bootstrap. And after that, once you are comfortable with JavaScript and Bootstrap, so we will start what? React JS. Okay, so see, there is a opportunities for HTML developer as well. In some companies, there are some opening like for HTML developer. So if you already only know HTML, so there is a chance for job for you. But if you know HTML5, CSS, and advanced CSS, JavaScript, okay, means ECMAScript 5 and ECMAScript 6, means you can apply as a JavaScript developer. You can apply as a React developer as well, right? So these are the stack for front end. These are the technologies belongs to front end, right? So, and what are the coding platforms? Here we will practice in our course. We will practice codings in HackerRank. Okay, HackerRank platform we will explore. We will explore lead code. Okay, and we will take some problems from the geeks from geeks and codeshare. Okay, so these are the things we will discuss. Okay, this is just an overview of full stack development, but we will start our class from here. Okay, we have to learn these things. Okay, this is our first module, which is Python module. So first we will start learning Python. Okay, later we will move to the front end. Okay, after that we will move to the back end, and after that we will move to the database technology. Then we will learn tools, testing tools, and AWS cloud, right? So this is our first module, which is Python module, right? So if I ask you what is language, so language is what? Language is a software which provides set of instruction for developing software. Language acts as a mediator between user and computer. What is the mean of this? What is the mean of this? Let me tell you. For example, this is what? This is a user. Okay, and this is a computer. Okay, so this is a user and this is a computer. So there is a language. Okay, so language acts as what? Mediator between computer and user. Okay, so what is language? Language is nothing but this is a software. Okay, which provide what? Which provide set of instructions. Which provide set of instruction for writing software, for writing we can say software or programs. Okay, so this is what? This is the user and this is a computer and this is a language which is nothing but software which provides set of instruction for developing further software and programs, right? And let me tell you one more thing. For example, this is user. Okay, so this is the user. Okay, and this is the computer. Okay, so computer is what? A machine we can say. So this understand, the computer understand which language? Computer understand low level language. Computer understand low level language. Now what is low level language? Low level language is binary language. Low level language is what? Binary language. So what is binary language? Binary language in the form of 0 1 0 1 0 1, like that. Okay, and this binary language also known as machine language. Okay, this binary language also known as machine language, right? And we are the user, we understand what? We understand high level language. Okay, what is high level language? High level languages are in simple English. Simple English. Okay, suppose if you are speaking, if you are understanding only high level language and computer understanding which is machine language only, so can we establish communication between both? So communication is not possible. Suppose if you are speaking Chinese and I'm speaking Hindi, so we cannot communicate each other. We cannot communicate each other. So what we need in between we required one thing which is known as translator. Okay, we require translator. So translator will take high level language and it will convert into what? Low level language. So it will take high level language and it will convert into low level language. Okay, and if we talk about translator, so we have two types of translator. Okay, we have two type of translator, which is number one is interpreter. Okay, number one is interpreter and the second one is compiler. Okay, so we have two types of translator. One is interpreter and the second one is compiler. Okay, so what is the functionality of interpreter? What is the functionality of compiler? So we have to discuss this, right? So overall, if I will tell you, so for example, this is what? Programmer. If you are the programmer, okay, so if you are the programmer and you are writing code in what? You are writing code in Python. Okay, so what is the extension of Python? The extension of Python is what? .py. The extension of Python is .py and my file name is what? 1.py. Okay, so here what I'm writing? Here I am writing Python code. Okay, line number 1 some code is there, and line number 2 some code is there, and line number 3 some code is there, line number 4 code is there, and line number 5 some code is there. Okay, so here is my computer. Okay, so whatever code I am writing, I want to see the output of that code. I want to see the output of that code. So what will happen, whatever code you are writing, first it will be translated. First your code will be translated. Okay, so translator will translate your code. Okay, so when translator will translate your code, when translator, I'm just giving you overview, I'm not explaining in detail, but when we talk about Python, when we are converting Python program into machine understandable program, so there is lots of process in behind, but we are not discussing lots of process. I am just giving you overview. Okay, so this translator will convert your Python code into what? Binary code. Okay, and binary is what? Binary is machine understandable. So your machine will able to understand the Python code and it will display the output. But if you are thinking like my computer can directly understand Python code, so you are thinking very wrong. Your machine cannot understand Python code, and your machine cannot understand C language code directly, and your language cannot understand Java code directly. So first we required one translator, and that translator will convert your code into what? Binary code or machine understandable code. Then machine can understand. And you, as you already know, translator are two types. One is what? Compiler. Another is what? Interpreter. Okay, so let's understand what is the working of interpreter and translator. I mean, what is the working of compiler and translator. Okay, so before telling you the working of compiler and translator, let me tell you the different types of language. Okay, so if we talk about machine language, if we talk about machine language, okay, if we talk about machine language, so machine language is known as, we can say, binary language is a machine language. Binary is machine language, and this binary is known as low level language. Okay, low level language, right? And one more low level language is there, which is known as assembly language. Okay, so binary and assembly, both are what? Both are low level language. Both are the example of low level language. But here you will see, here you will see code in what? 0101 form. Okay, in the form of 0101. But here in assembly language, you will see code in, you will see code in numerics. Okay, so you will see code in numerics. Numerics are nothing but verbs. What we are no, what is this numeric? It is nothing but verb. What is verb? Like for example, add, some action word you will see, add, subtract, okay, multiply. So these kind of verb you will see here, numerics. So assembly is what? Assembly is a low level language. Binary is also a low level language, right? Binary language contain what? 0101, and assembly language contains what? Numerics. Okay, which are nothing but verbs, right? So verbs are like add, subtract, okay, and multiply. Okay, then we have some high level language. Okay, so high level languages are what? High level languages are what? Can we say Python is a high level language? Right? Python is what? High level language. Can we say Pascal? Can we say C++? Can we say Java? Okay, so these are what, for example, .NET. Okay, for example, JavaScript. Okay, so these are what, high level language. High level language are what, high level language is is we can say human understandable. Okay, high level language, human understandable. When we talk about low level language, so it is what, machine understandable, right? So high level languages we can understand easily, because high level language are what, high level language are in the form of simple English. It is in the form of simple English. But low level language, it is very difficult to understand. Okay, and if it is very difficult to understand for us, so it will be very difficult to write program in low level language. That's why we write program in high level language, right? What are the example of low level programming language? We can say assembly, and the second one is, can anyone tell me what is the second one?
Binary.
The second one is binary. Can you tell me please, what binary file contain?
Zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones. Okay, the thing is, the question is, why we call this language as binary language? Why we call it binary language? Why we call it binary language? Why we are not calling it unary language? Why we are not calling it unary language? See, binary means what? Binary means two. Means how many symbols? Two symbols. So here you will see only two symbols, 0 or 1, 0 or 1, 1 1 1 0 0 0. So only two symbols are there. What about unary? Unary means one. So here unary means one symbol only. Okay, for example, dollar. Ternary means, for example, ternary means three, right? So here you can see three symbols, right? For example, if we talk about English, so how many symbols are there? Symbols are nothing but alphabets. So we can say A to Z, 26 symbols are there. Okay, so if someone asks you like why we call it binary language, okay, why we call 0101 as binary language? Because now you can say binary means two. So binary language contain always two symbols, either one, either zero, either one, either zero. Okay, but English contain how many alphabets? 26 alphabets, right? Okay. Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. Whenever we write any program, whenever we write, okay, everyone please listen now. I hope everyone attentive and attentively listening. Okay, so every program, so every program contains three things. One is what? Input. Okay, the second thing is what? Process. Okay, so whatever input is coming, our program should process that input. After processing the input, what our program should do? Our program should release the output. It should show the output. Okay, our program should have input, then process, and then output. Clear? Input, process, and output. For example, whenever we are writing program, let me give you one example program. So we can divide our program into three parts. Number one is what? Input. Okay, and the second thing is what? This is what I'm writing here, comment. Okay, comment is ignorable by the translator. Okay, so for our understanding, I am writing this. And the second thing is process. Okay, the third thing is what? The third thing is output. Okay, input, process, and output. For example, For example, I'm writing here one program. Write a program to add two numbers. So whenever you want to add two numbers, first what you require? First, what you required? You required some input, or we can say data. Can we say input or data? We require data. So how you will get data? For example, num1, I'm writing here 10, and num2, I'm writing what 20. Okay, this is the data. Okay, after getting the data, we are getting data here. After getting the data, what we need? We need to process the data. Processing part means what we have to do? We have to add two numbers. So can we write here something? Can we create one variable called add? Okay, and inside this add variable, can we write something like num plus num2? So this is the process part. I'm just giving you a simple example, very basic example I'm giving to you, right? And in output means whatever result is there, we have to display the result. So how we can display the result? For displaying the result, print we have print function. So in print function, we can write here first one message, addition is. Okay, and here we can write what? Add. So this is the way. So first we will take data. This is what we are giving data. As a programmer, we are giving data 10 and 20, but this data we can ask from the user as well. This data we can ask to the user as well. Okay, and this is what? This is the processing part. Here what we are doing? We are doing arithmetic operation, which is addition operation, right? And it is generating what? Output. It is generating output. So let me run this code. So what is the output? What is the output here? Addition is 30. Okay, so how this program is working? The program we can divide into three parts, right? So I hope you are understanding, everyone. Suppose if you want to take this data, you don't want to give this data as a programmer, you are the Python programmer, so you are giving data, but the requirement is we have to ask this data from the user. So we will write here input function. So when you write the input function, so means this input function is responsible to take data from the user. Okay, we can write here input function take data from the user. Okay, so it will take data from the user. Okay, and here we can write the message to the user, enter number. Okay, and here also we can write one message to the user, enter num2, right? So this data we are taking from the user, but this input function return string data. It return string data. So I will convert it into what? Integer. So because we can perform addition on integers number. Okay, so now whatever data is coming from the input, for example, user entered what? 10. So when you are taking this 10 from the input function, means this 10 is what? A string. 10 is not an integer. 10 is something like a string. 10 is something like this. So when you use this integer function, when you are using this integer function, so it is removing the string codes from the 10 number. So now it will become integer. So the integer number will be stored in num1. Same for here. Okay, so for example, this time we are asking 30 from the user. So 30 is what? Is string. If we are taking with input, so this is what data? This is string data, right? This is what? String data. So can we convert into what? Integer? Yes. How you will convert? Just an integer function. Okay, we will learn this integer function, this input function in very much detail, but just I'm just giving you overview of this. Okay, so now this time it will ask input from the user. So if I execute it, so it will ask user input. What it is asking? Enter input, enter num1. So for example, I'm giving 10 and the num2 I'm giving 30. So it is giving what? Addition is what? 40 it is giving. So like that we can work with user data, right? Let's come back to our presentation. Okay, so what is language? Language is a software which provides set of instruction for developing software. Language act as a mediator between user and computer. Okay, And as we okay, so what is translator? See, computer understand which language? Binary language. And we understand which language? High level language. So when we are understanding different language and computer understanding different language, so means we need translator. So translator is a software which convert instruction of one language to another language. So what are the example of translator? Examples of translator is what? Interpreter and compiler. Right. So what is interpreter and compiler we will discuss. Okay, now the question is, what is source program? A program written in high level language, high level programming language is called source program. Okay, so whatever code you are writing in high level language, that is known as source code. So for example, I'm writing this code. Can you see this program, the small program we have written? We have written the small program. So this is nothing but source code, and source code can be written in any high level language. We can write source code in any high level language. Correct? So what is source code? A program written in high level language is called source program. Okay, so for example, this is what C programmer, and this programmer writing C program. Okay, but C program cannot understand by the computer directly. So this C program will translate by the translator, and the translator will convert this code, this C program code, into word binary, and binary can understand by the machine or computer. Are you guys understanding this diagram? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay, so what is interpreter? Okay, interpreter is a translator which translate and execute instruction line by line. Okay, so we have seen like there are two category of translator. One is interpreter and compiler, right? So one is interpreter. So interpreter working is it translate line by line. Okay, so how many lines are there? 5 lines. Okay, how many lines are there? There are 5 lines. So first it will read first line, then after reading one line it will verify the syntax, it will translate, and it will execute, right? And after execution it will display the output. Suppose if there is any error, if there is any error in your line number 2, so what it will do, it will not translate, it will stop execution. Okay, if there is error in syntax, means it will not translate your code, and it will give you throw one error, like in line number 2 there is an error. So once you will fix all the errors, so means it will execute, but first time it will take first line, it will verify the syntax of that line, and it will translate that line, and it will execute, and it will show you the output. Same for all the lines, right? So this is the theory of interpreter. And the compiler, what is the work of compiler? Compiler is a translator which translate whole program and execute. Okay, so it translate whole program. So how many lines are there? 5 lines. So at the same time, it will read all the 5 lines. It will read all the 5 lines. But interpreter read one line, then second line, then third line. Okay, so it interpreter read first line and verify the syntax and translate. But compiler will read all the lines and it will verify syntax at once. So when it is verifying the syntax, so there is error in line number 2 and line number 4. So it will display the error message. Like you have 2 or 4 line error, means there is error in your line number 2 and 4. Suppose you are writing 100 lines of code and in 10 lines you have error, so it will display all the 10 errors at once. Okay, and after that, once you resolve all the errors, it will verify the syntax and it will translate your code, and it will store. If there is no error means it will store into memory, right? After that it will display the output. So this is a simple working of compiler. Okay, so what is Python? Python is what? Python is a programming language. This is the theory. That's why I'm not taking much time to cover this theory. But basically, in this course, in full stack development course, we will write programs. So how many programs we will write? Any idea how many programs we will write in this Python module? We have different module. We have how many modules? We have total 5 modules. We have total 5 modules. One in module 1, which is Python module. Our module is what? Python module. So we will write how many programs? We will write 500 plus program in Python module itself. So when you will write this much program, if you will write this many programs, means you will able to solve the DSA problem directly. You can solve by yourself the DSA problem. So this many programs we are going to write in our first module. So don't think like sir is teaching only theory. It is not theory based, but some theory is required to understand the concept. All right. So I think this much is enough for today. Okay, if I will tell you like continuously everything, you will forget. So let me conclude the class. Okay, so we discussed about what we have discussed. We discussed about language. Okay, so languages have two category. One is low level language. Okay, and the second one is high level language. Low level language is what? Machine understandable language. So in low level language we have binary language, and the second one we have assembly language. Okay, after that we have high level language. So in high level language, which is high level languages are what? Simple English, which is written in simple English. For example, Python is a high level language. Okay, Java is a high level language. Okay, and we can say C++, this is also a high level language. .NET, okay, C sharp, these are what? High level languages. So we have understood this. Okay, so whenever we are writing code in high level language, so computer understand which language code? Machine language, means low level language code. So if you are writing code in high level language, means you required one translator. What you required? You required one translator. Okay, and translator has two categories. One is one is interpreter. Okay, and the second one is compiler. Okay, interpreter and compiler. So for example, this is your program and you have written these many lines. This is 1.c file. Okay, so interpreter will execute line by line. Each line it will execute. First it will read one line. Interpreter will read one line. Okay, after that it will verify the syntax. Okay, verify the syntax. After verifying the syntax, what it will do? It will it will translate, and after translate it will execute. Okay, so these are the things we have discussed, and one more thing, we have compiler which translate our code at once. Okay, but we will learn these things in detail, right? So that's it for today, guys. That's it for today. All right, so in the next class we will discuss.